Hey, I heard you guys like hordes, so I updated the hordes in Post Finem. You versus the guy she told you not to worry about. We've got a big facelift going on over here. Custom mission trees for the Phoenix, as well as the hordes. Many of them having their own dedicated mission tree, and a shared mission tree for the lesser guys, a unique mission tree for these boys over here, as well as the lads down here, complete with formables. Very well may be the largest update for Post Finem yet, and there's an open beta going on right now at the time of uploading this. If you want to get involved in it, help squash some bugs before the release on the 30th, you can check out the Discord. It's going to be linked in the description of the video. And if you are a Giga Chad and you enjoy Post Finem as much as I do, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because there's going to be more Post Finem content to come. Ashig is going through some stuff over here. They've got rebels, and they have a civil war that is going to fire. At least should fire if they don't know what they're doing. But you know, the AI is dumb, so it's probably gonna fire. We got a brand new mechanic over here, the Ilkhanate mechanic. Oh, throat singing Intensifies. So you can see their legitimacy is tanking. Meanwhile, over here to the east, you've got the Barut Khanate, who their claim is growing. If they wanted to, they could easily attack and take that title from the Ilkhan of Ashig. See? Ilkhan? Not Ilkhan. Cool, huh? Regardless of who is the Ilkhan, going through each of these decrees will give various bonuses to all Mongols, as well as buffing the Ilkhan themselves every other decree. And of course, once they decide to go all the way, they can click a button, a funny button, that will unite them in their tributaries, at least the ones that they incorporate, and we should see a united big beautiful orange tag. It's gonna be fun, but there's only one way to find out what happens, and that's to turn it on up to speed 5 and unpause. And yeah, you can just assume that the Ashigi civil war is going to fire. It's ticking up very quickly. They'll boost their stab and their war exhaustion down, but it's still gonna fire. There's basically nothing that the AI can do to avoid it. There's also a new estate for the nomadic hordes, the Becky, which is like basically their version of the clergy. It's literally the clergy. But if and when they were to abandon their horde status and become a monarchy, for example, they will unlock the regular clergy estate. They get replaced. So yeah, we're gonna see a civil war here. Should be pretty fun. And yeah, there we go. They've got lots of rebels. Breaking the rebels will not get rid of it, so they just gotta deal with it. They just got to deal with it, that's all. Also, it looks like their tributaries are breaking free. These guys already have, and these other 3 are all disloyal. Well, Surtai is not, but they probably will be. Meanwhile, Barut over here has Nogai Kagansar. They also have some allies, one of them being the former Ashig subject. And then down in the south, we've got Bulgur with Danuk and Karakala with Kiev Tul. And every nation that is not a lesser Khan, which in this mod they're called Kashigatans, they will be not eligible for Ilkhan. But for example, Bulgur is, and they will gain, however slow, they will gain progress towards claim. Any nation that has more than 50 claim, while the Ilkhan themselves has less than 50 claim, will be able to contest them with that CB I showed in the intro. And for somebody who maybe has enough claim, but the Ilkhan has too much legitimacy, you can do this one here, which will allow the destabilization of the realm, which will tank their legitimacy, as well as, you know, just give them a headache, cost them some stability, etc., etc. So great way to kind of punch the Ilkhan, make them reel a bit, weaken them to the point where you're able to contest them. So yeah, while Ashig is over here getting the business in their civil war, they ain't feeling so good. They just collapsed the rebels, and they do still have their disaster, so that's something you got to keep in mind. However, collapsing the rebels did indeed seem to help them, despite the fact that they have crazy autonomy, which is going to crush their economy. Their mission tree is mostly based around recovering from the civil war, working towards uniting the Ilkhan, and then, you know, they'll get a new mission tree upon forming that tag. But that's assuming that they remain one piece, which, you know, spoiler alert, is probably not going to happen. Yeah, because Barut just attacked them, and it's a claimant war, meaning they're going to take the title of Ilkhan, and I think they outnumber them. Let the floodgates open and the occupations begin. Oh, what is this? What is this? Velin, as well as Marush. We've got a couple of Suamanusko breakaway states in the north here. Now, these guys are breakaways, but Ashig still has their cores. Theoretically, they could take the land back if they really wanted to. Oh, that's so funny. Akmang just pieced them out, taking a couple of provinces, including their capital. That's lovely. And now Barut's got 100%, so they'll piece them out. They took a little bit of land, not a whole lot, but a few provinces, and they are now the Ilkhan with 100% legitimacy, and they are able to pass that first reform if they were to decide to, which they probably will. So safe to say Ashig is intended to be a challenging nation to play as if you're interested in a horde with a little bit of challenge in 1.3. Meanwhile, over in the Baltic, we've got some war going on with Ritvinia occupying Lithuania's capital. These guys got updated in the patch before the current one. Kashubia is pushing over here. Looks like they full annex Silesia and maybe some land over here. Heliopolis, the Christians of Arabia, making their way down into Arabia. Looks like they've picked up a couple new subjects. They only start with 4, and they've got 2 more. They look like they probably will get 1 or 2 more in this war. Carthage not feeling so good, though they are getting some land back in other wars, so maybe they'll be able to pull through. Hard to tell. They start off with this modifier, and yeah, they got to stack up quite a few things in order to get rid of it, so we'll see how things go with that. Meanwhile, over in Sogdiana, we've got Bukhara annexing Samarkand. So we've got 1 less tag over here in the, the Silk Road Principalities, I believe they're called, the Sogdian Principalities. And yeah, we've got a couple more breakaways for Ashig, Barut, and Yatrak here. Some hordes popping free. Ashig is dead. The Ilkhan is dead. Long live the Ilkhan. Tomor Batar. What a good name that is. Oh, and interestingly enough, Tomarkad over here has actually tributaried Velen and Yatrak. Generally, I've seen Barut do it, but it looks like they actually beat them to it. So that's probably going to put them in conflict. Meanwhile, looks like the Finnics are not feeling so good. Sapmi's dead. I think they got annexed by Finland. And now Finland is getting annexed between Sweden and Galdija, I think it is down here. No, it's actually Karelia. Karelia is annexing Finland, so rip those guys. And now you can see Barut's legitimacy is growing. They are too small. I think it's 20 provinces to be considered not too small. Now what it does is it calculates it based on their subjects development, their amount of horde unity. At max they get 0.1, which is what they're at right now, and then modifiers from, you know, missions and various other idea groups. I think court gives legitimacy, but yeah, so theoretically they would be able to grow if they were able to get more subjects. That's going to be like the limiting thing that will allow them to get bigger, faster, stronger, all that stuff. Oh, and also worth mentioning, because I don't think I had yet, the Ilkhan of Khans does give a single modifier here. Well, 1 modifier that gives a bunch of bonuses. It's fairly well rounded. I would say it's, you know, maybe a little bit more focused on the military side of things. But yeah, it's pretty good. You can also see the modifier over here on the actual Ilkhan window. If legitimacy gets below 50, like with Ashig, they will get some malices, and if it gets below 25, those malices are like basically doubled. It definitely offsetting any bonuses they would have from this, as well, causing them to spiral. So in a way, it's kind of like the mandate of China. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's really, really bad. Now, Barut's mission tree is fairly well-rounded. It's mostly focused on conquering land over here in the regions of the Barun and Ruspulak, as well as uniting the Ural, of course. But also has them pushing west into Siberia, Central Asia, Mongolia, and they also even have a mission that will give them some Siberian frontiers, so that way they can fill in these provinces up here. Well, it does appear that the Ilkhan's legitimacy growth has gone down quite a bit, mostly just because they literally attacked one of their subjects. They've passed 3 reforms. They do actually have plenty of banners now, which they have unlocked via their reforms. I think they have like 7 of them. So yeah, they're doing quite well with that. They're currently beating the Tard of Tomarkad, who's actually snaking around to block them off. Probably will allow them to get some more subjects over here if I had to guess, but losing Nogai is kind of bad. I mean, they've got, you know, a lot of development, like 100 or so, 76. So yeah, it definitely hurts them. Regardless, they've conquered enough land that they're no longer a small nation. So once they get their war exhaustion down and their horde unity up, they'll be getting like 0.15 a month. And if they're able to, you know, conquer some land, they'll be good. Oh, there it is. Yeah, they took quite a bit of land, quite a bit, though the lack of subjects is definitely going to slow them down. We'll see how things go with that. And keep in mind, there's a very big and very spooky Norse Sweden over here, and Norse units are basically like Ottoman units day 1. They're pretty much 1-to-1 with the horde units, so this could actually be a very tough fight for them. Meanwhile, down in the south, the Evangelos faith is popping off quite a bit. Lots of expansion going on as expected, with Heliopolis getting lots of subjects down here, which is surprisingly really good for the AI. But no reformation in the Hellenic faith at all just yet. My boy Newt Stormbringer pushing down over here with Gododin popping out, which is pretty cool. Trinovantes has eaten some lands up here. But yeah, Nordvik seems to be the guy who's ruling the day, actually taking some land over here in Celtica. So yeah, keeping an eye on them for sure. Cool to see Euskaria over here. They are a fairly rare tag for the AI, so that's pretty cool. They pop out of Tarvalia here in you know, an event. And Kashubia is pushing over here. They annexed most of Lithuania, with Akmong snaking and Zalant snaking the crap out of these guys. So it looks like Lithuania is actually beating Zalant. So All right, we'll see how things go with that. Barut be like, how many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? And just like that, they are a tributary state. Velen over here is a regular vassal. They got a lot of cores, so maybe we'll see Barut going to war with Sweden. That would be pretty cool. Well, blink and you miss it. Punic is the official faith of the Italian Federation. Looks like the assassination of the Adoram incident had happened, and Hannibal is here. Hannibal is the Grand Adoram, and it looks like Italia got bonked. Roma actually took their personal union of Carthalis as a vassal, and won the League War, which means they have free reign to start pushing through lots of reforms. They will be able to push through lots of them very quickly, and eventually probably will form the Roman Empire or the Roman Republic, which would be really cool because I would love to see a giant massive Ilkhanate against a giant massive Roman Empire for like the final boss battle. That'd be really cool to see. Oh, and meanwhile, Nogai has been bopped with Kazakh actually allying Kagansar, who is a tributary of Barut, which explains why Barut hasn't attacked them. They do have claims on them, which are needed for their mission tree, but they're not going to attack them because they don't want to lose their subject. That's how the AI is calculating that, I think. Meanwhile, Ashgabatis has eaten some of Nogai, and then Persia ate most of these guys with Amirgaya or whatever popping out, and probably looking to eat the rest of these boys. Well, here we go. Akmang was subjugated by Barut, who subsequently was attacked by Sweden, and then Barut didn't join? So they're gonna get annexed by Sweden. So yeah, man, that's kind of dumb. Why would you not join the war? You could stomp them over here, man. Paradox AI be like, also just look at the girth of this Kashubia. We're gonna see a Severoslavia here very quickly. I assume Lechia is like a subject of theirs, or maybe not. I don't know why they won't attack them, but yeah, we should probably see a Severoslavia before too long as well. Would love to see somebody contest, because once the Ilkhanate forms, they're big. Like, they're essentially Russia. They're in the Russia region, but they're also basically Russia in terms of being a massive behemoth. Christian zeal is very close to maxing out, so we're going to see a Theodokos here before too long. And we also have a Reformation popping out of here over in Egypt. So we've got the Neterist faith, and it does look like Paradosi has also spawned in Cephalonia of all places, which is really funny. So we're probably going to see some other nations, and boom, there you go. These guys are generally considered the prime candidates for it, and with 3 centers of Reformation all on either side of the place, we're going to be seeing some conversions for sure. Though Egyptos snaking up here past Syria, that's pretty good. I like to see that. I think we're going to see Theodokos and Egyptos go at each other's throats. Certainly not the most graceful Theodokos formation I've ever seen. They've got 3 disloyal subjects, and it looks like these guys were probably disloyal when they clicked the button. So yeah, they're going to have to integrate these guys on their own, or not. I mean, they're still pretty strong. They are subjects. Vassal Swarm is a very powerful play strategy if it does suit you. Ooh, but we got an AI coalition going on here. No wonder they haven't attacked Lechia. They're in a coalition against them, and they could probably get bonked if they get attacked by all these guys. So that's good. I love to see the AI forming coalitions. Well, this is certainly not ideal. Barut is getting bonked by Sweden. Luckily for them, it is a raid war, which means Sweden can't actually even take land in it. It's just for money, just for fun. War for fun, I guess. Raid wars are unique to the Norse guys because they raid. That's what they do. Regardless, Barut is actually doing okay. They're winning in terms of military might, but Sweden's got Magnus Snowson, a 356 Viking leader. So yeah, he's pretty spooky. I actually kind of just assume that he is a scripted general. Almost 100% sure he is. Regardless, very scary. I would not want to fight that guy. Well, it looks like he lost that one at least. Yeah, they're actually they're fighting. They're doing lots of fighting, and yeah. Either way, Barut definitely not feeling so good from that war. War exhaustion actually was there, but it looks like they're doing okay now. And yeah, they keep everything. Lots of claims, couple of subjects. Ritvinia or Akmang over here is a 1-province minor in Riga, which is like super funny. Apparently they got 1 more province over here in the former capital of Ashig, so that's pretty funny as well. But yeah, Barut is pushing through some reforms. They're on invest in sciences, so that is 7 down, 3 to go. They'll be able to form the Ilkhanate. And I've seen the AI do it, like I'd say 90% of the time. The AI is going to push through this unless somebody intervenes and they have a bad war early on. They will form the Ilkhanate. But beware, Macedonia down in the south doing pretty good. It is actually funny to see Cephalonia doing all this. We had Achaia or whatever, and they had all this land, and they were one province away from forming Sparta, and then Cephalonia attacked them with their ally of Egyptos, and they just completely spanked them, and then Macedonia took Athens from them. So very funny to see. Meanwhile, over in the west, Gaul just got absolutely spanked by Punicum over here from the Federation, and then Alemannia seems to be going in and occupying their capital. And then up in the north, you know, just Norse Viking things. We've got Celtica getting bonked by Nordenvik. Suebi is ruling the day over in Iberia, and Zorim over here in Mauritania. Carthage has collapsed with Egyptos snaking them, a couple of provinces split throughout, and then Numidia over here. Songhai in sub-Saharan Africa, we've got some Suebi stuff colonizing with Congo over here, doing pretty good, and Kilwa over on this side. Not really anything surprising, pretty usual as in like vanilla stuff. Though over in South America, we've got Bellica and Suebi down here, and that is actually it. But then we've got Klin colonizing up here. Klin is the Balearic Islands. And then we've got Celtica over on Aia, and then we've got Dumnoni, who's actually been exiled. Exiled to like the Dominican Republic, which is chef's kiss. We've got Gaul and Norway colonizing up here in the north. Not really too surprising. And I believe that is it for the colonial game. Well, here we have it, the Great Starvation. My friends, there is a new disaster upon us, the Great Drought, which is affecting basically every province in like every single one of these regions. And it's pretty dang bad. And thus every nation that has provinces in those regions, or at least a specific amount, is going to be prone to having such a disaster. And if they don't have enough grain or livestock production, then they're going to crumble. You can see Barut creates more than enough grain, so they don't have to worry about it. Guys like Marusk, if their stab hit goes below 1, they're gonna have the disaster. Tomorkad has enough grain. Bulgur has enough livestock, so most of the bigger guys are okay, but yeah. Great Starvation. Definitely want to avoid that. Oof. And yeah, rip Theodokos, Egyptos, and Persia ganging up on the Theodokos to bonk them on the head. So they're probably going to be gone. I believe it's actually an independence war for Yathrib, who's been a subject of theirs for a very long time. Hey, and we got a Severoslavia. These guys have been like lacking behind on admin tech. That was the only thing holding them back, but they finally got admin tech 10. So there you go. And over in Gaul, Alemannia definitely ate some land. We even got a couple of breakaway states over here in these guys. So Punicum looking really strong. Suebi and them probably going to fight eventually. And as long as these guys can avoid the starvation and Barut can continue to push through decrees, they've got like 1.5 more to go, and they'll be able to form the Ilkhanate. Oh, yo, and I totally forgot. I should have mentioned this. We've got Tangri Favor, which is pretty cool. It changes by a certain amount per month. They can host festivals by spending it, or they can keep it and they get the bonuses you can see there down at the bottom. All pretty good stuff. If we click this, an event will fire that will allow them to host a festival, and they can spend certain amounts. If they spend, 25, they'll get this. If they spend 50, they'll get an even better one. 75 better. 100, you can get like a once in a lifetime sort of thing, and you get scaling bonuses that get better and better as you spend more and more Tangri Favor on it. Well, the Great Drought is over. Oh, and there's a big orange Ilkhanate on the map now. They passed all of the reforms. They incorporated their single tributary. It's quite late, actually. I feel like most of the time I've seen the Ilkhanate form in like, the early 1500s. Quite late for this one, but I assume it was because Sweden blocked them off, and they're historical friends with Bulgur down here, so that probably would have something to do with it. Regardless, they now have a full new mission tree, which they unlock upon forming this nation, and they're going to get some pretty solid bonuses from that as they push through it. They've also gone Horde, Diplo, offensive ideas, and they get new national ideas, ending with some admin efficiency, and yeah, it's definitely pretty good. On top of that, they also get a unique tier 1, and they reform into a monarchy, but they are still able to raise provinces and have tributary states, as well as gaining a diplomat, max absolutism, governing capacity, and overextension impact modifier. So yeah, they're pretty good, and their mission tree gives them a lot of claims. And they also have some frontiers going on over here, because I think they here it is. They must have finished the mission that they got as Barut before they formed the nation. So they do have 20 years of that, but I believe they actually get some via via these guys down here. Right. So, oh, and there it goes. They just put it in there. So yeah, they get 2 Siberian frontiers. Ah, yes. And let the wars begin. Let their collection of lands begin. Hey, yo, Severoslavia, you feeling okay, man? He's got 4 defensive wars going on. He's getting Holy Ward. He's getting conquested by the Ilkhanate. Dunavia down there attacking him. And Sweden. Oh my God. Yeah, they are not going to form Slavia, that's for sure. Meanwhile, the Ilkhanate is pushing eastward, and they are working through their missions. They've gone a couple of them down, and I'm sure they're going to continue to work on those. Ooh, and we are so back, baby. The Ilkhanate conquest of Kargal. Got a good name to it. Ilkhanate definitely outnumbers the Swedes, and they are they're looking for some violence. They've chosen violence. They've actually got a couple of provinces over here. They took one from Severoslavia, and looks like they're probably going to touch up their lands over here. Probably won't take that. I don't know how that works, but yeah, they're going to take lots of land over here. So that's pretty cool. Yep, there you go. Sweden just released Norland and Velen, by the looks of it, gave some land to Marusk, and the Ilkhanate snaked them. Didn't touch up their lands over here, so suspect, but you know, we'll do what we can here. Ilkhanate also broke off their alliance with Bulgar down here, and it looks like Uzbek is a tributary now. So we're probably going to end up seeing them push down here into what is called the Rusbalak in Post Finem. Oh, and they allied Macedonia. Meanwhile, Lagerland and Swaby ate up the rest of Gaul, and Nordenvik is working their way towards eating up the rest of the Celtic Isles. Egyptos is absolutely terrifying. South America continues to be colonized with Swaby in the south, Bellica over here, but up in the north, it is hotly contested. We've got Egyptian, Punicite. I think this right here is a native. We've got Klin. We've got Punicum. We've got Egyptos over here, Bellica. Lots of nations colonizing. Trinovantes has handled the lands over here for the most part with Bellica, and I think this is Zorim over here. Oh, and you can't forget about Celtica getting in on that as well. We've got the Celts over here, and it is honestly just super competitive. I love this. This is actually super cool to see. We do have an independent Gimrod up here, who is a subject that has broken free and formed the Canadian formable in Post Finem. We've also got Nordenvik getting in on colonizing the east coast over here, so we'll probably see them get their thing off the ground. One of the things I'm super proud of with this mod is the like colonial variation, because you know, vanilla, pretty predictable. You get basically the same thing every time. While Nordenvik continues their conquests in the north, lads, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Specifically, I guess this would be the Roman Republic. But yes, Roma has united the Federation, or at least most of it, with Illyria, Serenza, and Italia popping free, as well as Punicum. No, not surprise. The northern guys usually get pretty big, and they don't want to join. Oh, and Sardinia didn't join either. Screw them, I guess. But with the age of absolutism upon us, Swaby, the colonial power, the #1 great power, with Rome, the united Rome, the #2 great power, Macedonia in the #3 spot with 1,200 development. Egyptos, though, the actual #1 great power once they embrace that institution. Saxony in the 8th, with the Ilkhanate behind Saxony in the 6th, with the 7th going to Persia and the 8th going to Songhai down in Africa. God bless. The colonial game does continue to fill in with lots of variety like we saw before, though it looks like Bellica seems to be the one conquering much of the land down here. Though it also looks like we have 3 Bellica colonies taking the land in the Yucatan Peninsula. That's going to be pretty ugly. Though, yeah, the East Coast continues to fill in. Nobody over on the West Coast just yet. And we have rounded the horn with Celtic Angola over here, and Bellica and Swaby down here, probably going to bonk Kilwa, though Kilwa's also pretty big. We'll see how things go with that. Bellica has also got some of the Spice Islands gone here, and they're actually slowly filling in with Swaby seemingly over here in the Spice Islands. Lanfang, pretty cool to see. And then Sunda, Malacca over here. Of course, Ming collapsed. I never even showed it, but yeah, Ming collapsed, and we've got a giant Shun with a giant U in the south. Japan is united and annexed some of the Korean lands, and it does look like Ilkhanate is starting to kind of give a nice big hug. They're past Lake Baikal, and I imagine they're going to beat up on the Oirat before too long. It is 1650, and the Ilkhanate is showing no signs of slowing down. They finally conquered some land from Bulgaria. We've got Kalmyk, which is a thing. I actually didn't know it was still in Post Finem. So there you go. They are Tangris, though. They are not, I don't know what happened here, but there you go. That is a thing. The Khan, and then Persia, Persian Persia rather has pushed up here. It looks like Ilkhan is actually probably going to yes, they'll probably be able to finish this mission here, which unlocks a large portion of their tree. The fact that they were slow to conquer the land over here slowed them down. But once they get out of this war, which should happen fairly shortly, they are going to be able to unlock lots of missions, lots and lots of missions. Ooh, and it looks like they actually forced tributary on Dunavia as well as Bulgaria. It's a lot of development to be having in those guys. It's quite a bit of development. They'll be getting some nice rewards for that, I reckon. 7 admin mana a year. That's crazy. It's like an extra month of admin mana for free. Guys, is it over for me? Ooh, and shout out Skaldasker, the United Nordenvik formable nation, for having the entirety of the Isles. Very cool. Rome doing their thing, and Egyptos continuing their thing, with Theodokos exiled exclusively to the Riam Pass over here between the wastelands. So very, very good. I'm a huge fan of that. The New World cleaning up quite a bit, with Swaby owning most of the south, with Bellica owning a bit, Bellica owning most of central, as well as a bunch of northern, but Skaldasker is actually colonizing a ton of land over here, with the east coast going to Punicum as well as Swaby. So very cool. We do also have their their cultures popping out. Iberian, I believe, is exclusive to North America, and Salamite is exclusive to South America. Grunewaldish, Haldorian, those are Swaby specific. Oh, and very cool to see the United Greek culture group, all of them. Everything has been united, which is sick. I'm a huge fan. Oh my gosh. Yo, I just like Egyptos is Evangelos. So my assumption is that there is a decision when you have a majority of your country's development tied up in a specific religion, specifically Evangelos, or other Christian nations like those over here or down here, and they decided they wanted to go that route. So yeah, we've got an Evangelos Christian Egyptos. All right, man. I've never seen that before, and I absolutely freaking love it. Also super cool to see Skaldasker converting all the land over here. Big fan. Well, that's a big Bengal we've got here right next to a very big Shun. Love to see that with a Wu just across from Wu. But yeah, Ilkhanate looking good. 8 Oirat, big border with Persia, and I don't think they've had any major wars here. Macedonia also seems to have quite a big border with them, and Dunavia definitely has seen better days. Looks like they're trying to get some land over here. That would be cool, but how about that Swaby? Looking really good, with Rome looking very scary as well. It's 1700, so things are for the most part pretty stable, and we've got the big major blobs that are looking to conquer the rest of the world. With South America looking pretty similar to what it did before, Bellica has lost Mexico and they have declared independence, and this Gimrod has conquered basically all of Skuldusker's colonial possessions, so rip those guys. With a little over 100 years left in the game, we've got Rome, the #1 great power, contested by Swaby once they embrace institution, Ilkhanate, the #3, and then down to Germania with the #4, Persia in the 5th, with Egyptos in the 6th, Bengal, big beefy Bengal in the 7th, and Shun over in China in the 8th. So definitely seeing a good spread, though I think that we're probably going to end up seeing Rome conquer a lot of land from Macedonia. That's my guess. Them, and I think the Ilkhanate may also lose quite a bit of land to Persia, because the unit types of the Ilkhanate falls off very heavily in the late game. Well, the Ilkhanate definitely shrunk a bit towards the end there, and it looks like they're losing a war to Japan at the moment. Shun has like CCP borders almost, outside of like some stuff over here in Tibet. That's pretty good. Persia is disgusting. I really should do something about that. People in the Discord were complaining about it. I know, but it's a lot of work, man. I did say that I thought Rome was going to eat up Macedonia. That is definitely true. We also have Rome in Eastern Europe, which is a thing, and revolutionary peoples just kind of all over the place, bunch of random tags, because yeah, some of them broke free, obviously. But I think without a doubt, the weirdest thing that I've seen today is this Albion, which is the formable tag for, Great Britain, or Albion, the island. I'm pretty sure that this is a colonial nation that formed Albion after conquering this land, because they are Celtic Ireland culture. So that's exactly what happened, and I have never seen that happen in EU4, vanilla or modded. Egyptos decided to convert one single province, I think, and then left Neteris to handle the rest, and the Punics did make their way over into the Hellenic world with not a lot of Hellenic stuff going on. Looks like Macedonia is their capital over here, and they've been exiled quite a bit over to here. Of course, the, Germanic peoples found lots of place to live in, if, you catch my drift. And Swabia is in the very, very active process of collapsing before our eyes. New World's pretty independent. Eperin is an independent nation, as is Teodash, and we've got some stuff over here and some colonies. But for the most part, Albion and Malacca split North America, like right down the middle. And then you've got some Punicite Great Plains, because why wouldn't you? Needless to say, Albion is in the Great Powers list. That's not even a question. But Rome finishes with the most development in the world, almost 5,000, beating out Persia, the Germanic Empire, Egyptos, Bengal, Albion, as I said, Shun, and then Malacca. We've got 2 New World nations in the Great Powers list, Chinese and Indian, Persian, and then a couple of, well, I guess Egyptos is technically African, and then 2 European nations. So a really cool spread. We also have a mostly stacked economic hegemon for the Romans and a mostly stacked military hegemon for the Germans. So that's pretty cool. So like I said, Post Finem 1.3, it is not live just yet, but the open beta is going on within the Discord. If you want in on that, go ahead and join it. The Discord is going to be linked in the description below the video. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more stuff like this, make sure that you leave a like. I really do appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel for more, and ding the bell so you get notified when these videos go up live. I appreciate you making it all the way to the end of this video. I really, really do. And I will see you in the next one.